So many of you have been asking me to discuss the Elysian Fields, but that in itself would be an extremely short video, so I feel like making a video discussing the different regions located in the Greek Underworld would be far more useful and insightful. When a soul passes through the gates of Hades, they are greeted by the three judges of the Underworld, Akos, Minos and Rhadamanthys, who essentially decide which part of the Underworld they will be sent to. Although in most cases Tartarus wasn't considered as part of the Underworld, those who had committed unspeakable crimes would be thrown into the fiery pit located deep beneath Hades. Rhadamanthys was the ruler of the region known as Elysium, which did go by several other names and I'm sure you may be more familiar with, including the Elysian Fields and the Elysian Plains. Once one was here, they would enjoy a peaceful afterlife, devoid of any labour and punishment. However, gaining entry to this part of the underworld was far from easy, as it was reserved for the favourites of the gods, and those who had achieved greatness and immense recognition. Most of Elysium was made up of demigods and heroes, but normal people could still make it here, with one of the most famous examples being Socrates, who gained recognition through philosophy. Inside Elysium there is a set of islands, known as the Isles of the Blessed, or the Fortunate Isles. When a soul had been sent to Elysium, they were given the choice as to whether they wished to stay in Elysium or be reborn. It was then considered a great achievement if a soul was reborn and sent to Elysium 3 times. That soul would then be sent to the Isles of the Blessed, where they would live in eternal paradise, much like a god. Now for those who had not achieved great things, but who had also not committed any significant crimes, they would then be sent to the Asphodel Meadows. This would serve as somewhat of a happy medium, and often those who did not fit anywhere else within the underworld would be sent to these meadows. The Mourning Fields was an area reserved for those who had wasted their time loving someone who did not reciprocate their feelings. To summarise, it was an area full of the broken-hearted, and those who were unfortunate enough to have their love rejected. The ancient Greeks did not look at death as the end of one's existence, but unless you were lucky enough to enter Elysium or the Isles of the Blessed, then the afterlife was somewhat meaningless, as your soul had no real influence or purpose left. The soul would linger as a reminder that the dead once existed, but despite this there was still a strong emphasis placed on the Greeks to honour the dead, to avoid punishment from the gods and goddesses. The Greek underworld had a place for every type of soul, and hopefully this explanation of the different regions has been somewhat useful. If you have any thoughts and ideas on Elysium or the Greek underworld as a whole that you'd like to share, then please do so in the comments below. As always, I've been your host, Mythology and Fiction Explained.